Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome, thank you so much for joining me. Today we are working on the bird journals. In my tutorial that I have for beginning journal makers, I hope that I told you to choose the paper for the cover first because it's really important. I've gotten way off track and I really need to get the covers figured out because it will help me figure out the style of the journal, and also I want to be sure that I have amazing paper for the inside. And I've just been, I'd say, struggling. One of the things that has me perplexed is I have some beautiful papers, but I typically put pockets on the inside of the journals. So I don't know if I'm going to have pockets on the inside. Maybe I'll do some sort of vertical or a tuck spot up here because I don't know if I want to cover up these papers. The other thing that is perplexing me a little bit, especially on this one, this is floppy, I want to say. It's not sturdy yet. And that's part of why when I made this one, I put glue inside the envelope and then rubbed it down so it held the layers together. I didn't do that on this one. Some people like different crinkly sounds and different textures. So somebody might like this one better. This one doesn't quite have the same level of crinkle because I glued it together. But I feel like this one is going to be too floppy and I cannot get my napkins to lay down nicely. And napkins sometimes can be a real turkey when you use them anyway. I've had trouble with cards curling. So what I'm thinking is for this one, and I didn't get all the way to the edge. I didn't curl around nicely. I was just collaging and playing and wasn't thinking about next steps. So when I cover this one, I really want to go all the way to the edge, which might not give me such a nice finished edge. If I get out of line, it might stick it over. But I was thinking about this paper. So I would use this light blue one just as a nice sturdy layer. It's a nice piece of paper. And then have this one. So you'll never even probably know the light blue was in there. I just didn't use black in case it showed or something. So that will thicken this up, make it a little more sturdy, and I'll glue all those layers together. Then, of course, have some more dry time. And I will trim it down first, just because I don't trust my ability to glue it all together and then get it right. This one is thicker. It's more sturdy. The wrapping paper isn't fighting me as much. And I think I'm going to use this. It's elegant. It's amazing. I got it in that marketplace haul that I did. So I'm thinking this will go in here about 1/8 of an inch. You'll be able to see that pretty tissue. That guy's eyeball's upside down, so maybe we'll go a little bit bigger and cover that up. And so it would be trimmed off right here. So you're going to have the butterflies and the bird inside the back cover, but you're not going to have that piece up there. You could go lower. I would trim this because it's a battered edge, I would call it. You could go right here. Nah, you're going to cut that bird in half. I think here. I am thinking about stitching around the cover of this because I've never done it and I want to try it. I don't think this one has a lot of glue, has a lot of layers of tissue. I don't know that my sewing skills are good enough, I guess. This one will be more trouble to sew on. It's not flat. It might be good for it. It might lay that paper down and straighten it up. I'm going to hold my breath and I'm going to stitch on this one. I've decided. I went through my threads. I don't have a real nice quality gold. I do have a gold, but I have a lot of trouble with it breaking, and I don't want to get halfway through and struggle with that. So what I thought I would do is pick a real high quality thread. I have a high quality silver. I don't know where it is. I don't think it really goes anyway. So I was looking at some of these, and I think I'm going to go with this one. It is pretty much the color of these flowers. I didn't want black, but I do want something with a little pop. Like, I want to try this. This is an experiment. And I'm thinking straight stitch all the way around. If it looks terrible, I'll go back over it with a zigzag and pretend I wanted it that way. So I'm going to thread the machine. My bobbin color is probably something bizarre. And I need to remember that I want to go in probably 1/4 of an inch, because when I flip this over, I don't want my stitching to show on this side. Not that it can't, I just want to cover it up, have it be nice and protected and sturdy for the long haul. So I probably need my stitching to be pretty far in, don't I? Something to keep in mind. And wish me luck. I hope it turns out okay. This one's not spoken for, so I figure if it goes badly, what have you got to lose? I have a tendency to be nervous, I think, and stop too early. I do it in collage, I do it in mixed media. So let's try this. I'll be back. I'll show you. Okay, I did it. It was scary. I started right here on this back corner, and I went across, and my bobbin thread broke right there. When I was trying to look at the back, I thought my tension is not right, but I didn't really know what to do about it. I think I had it way too loose. I was sewing plastic earlier today. I don't know. So then when I restarted it, I tightened it up. I don't know. Maybe those of you who actually have talents would say it was still way too loose. Maybe it was too tight. Maybe I went the wrong way. It looks rough all the way around. So I am glad I'm going to cover that up. But I don't hate it. There was a partway through where I thought, oh, I'm ruining this cover. I got a little low on the front corner right here, which is also weird because there's some Scotch tape there. But I think it's going to turn out fine. I am happy that I had planned to cover up the back of it because my tension is so weird. But I think it's kind of cool. I'm not going to try the other one. This one was challenging enough, and I felt like my sewing machine was probably a little angry. I don't remember. Oh, I used gel matte medium, didn't I? So yeah, it's pretty sturdy, and it's probably like 4 layers of envelope, or 3 layers of envelope right there and 2 layers of tissue. Well, I asked it to do a lot, and I think it did a pretty good job. Okay, I'm going to trim this paper down and probably trim this side just a hair too because it's tiny, and then glue it down with gel matte medium just like you saw me do on the covers. I'm not going to put any on this side. I want the nice texture of the paper and the foiling. I'm just going to put it on the back and glue those two together. Then I'm going to try this 2 layers of nonsense. Honestly, I don't want to spend the time to glue 2 layers together, but I just won't be happy with it otherwise. I do have here's a partial piece of that. I do have other pieces of paper. These are all thin. They have birds, but they're all thin. There was a lot of good stuff in there. This is what I bought at Joann. The only other option that I saw here was this, and it just doesn't speak to me with this at all. It is too casual of a pattern compared to all of the complexity here. The colors don't work. I could have used it on the inside of this and pulled it off. The color family's at least closer, but I just didn't like it on this. I also might take a peek and look just to see if I have a nice floral or a blue and white that I want to put on there. But I don't want something that I feel is competing with the cover. You know what I mean? So I think I'm going to stick with my plan. I'll just glue them all together and we'll see how it turns out. I could spend days or weeks looking for the perfect piece of paper to go on the inside. But the reality of it is, if I don't like it, I can make another one. I put the covers together, and for the most part, they're dry. It's later that same evening. This one is very sturdy, and I have a few crinkles right here, but overall, I think it turned out okay. It's not terrible. I would not recommend trying to take 2 pieces of paper and gluing them to an envelope like I did. I think if you wanted to stiffen up, you should think ahead and put the layer inside the envelope, or some people use like an Amazon padded packing one, whatever. But I like how it turned out in the end. This one, I glued it upside down. See it? Well, I got 1 out of 2 right side up, so I think that's pretty good. I realized it right after I had done it, not when I just laid it down, but like after I'd rubbed it out and added glue to all the edges. It would have been a complete nightmare to undo it. If you were giving it as a gift and it was terribly upsetting to you, you could always put another layer over it, right? You'd have to fight like this one. For me, if it was a really big deal and I wanted to cover it up, I could put a pocket that goes right here and cover this whole thing up. I don't know that I'll do that. I might at least cover up the word that's upside down. I don't mind that butterflies are flying that way. I don't even mind the bird. And I do love this big flower coming down from the corner, so that was kind of a cool mishap. So those 2 are set, and I'm just letting them dry for the night. Nothing big there. This is the paper that I got on Marketplace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these and work on adding to my signatures. So this one would look nice in here. Some of these more creamy ones I'm going to put in. And I think the 2 journals will start to evolve a little more. When I was thinking about it and I thought about my signatures, I want more writing space, I think, in here. These are cute little ones that I added after, so you haven't seen them. So I want to be sure that I have a lot of solid paper. And once I start layering up and putting pockets and different things, I wasn't sure how much there was going to be to write on. Like this page, you can't really write on here unless you just take a pen and write little random words between here, but not a lot of journaling. So having some of these more neutral papers like this, I could take this one, the corner has a bird, brings in a page you can write on, a page you can write on the back of. Also, these thinner papers won't add a lot of bulk. When you have one signature like this, if you use all scrapbook paper, it gets pretty full just with like a collection pack that you'd get at Tuesday morning, say a 12-piece collection. You make your cover and then your inside. But if you have a bunch of thinner papers, you can layer it up and mix more. I also managed to find some tea-dyed paper that I had. And I know I have a bunch of light blue paper, kind of this color maybe. So I might use some of that in here. That won't be very exciting. I'll just add those in, and then you'll see how it turns out.
Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing. Bye-bye.